Pete Holmes said the fired officer, Cynthia Whitlatch, could have made a strong argument for reinstatement with full back pay during arbitration. Seattle City Attorney Pete Holmes is defending his decision to pay more than $100,000 in back pay to a former police officer who was fired in 2015 after arresting an elderly black man, contending the settlement was aimed at preventing the officer from winning her job back. Holmes, in a statement issued Friday, said he fully supported Police Chief Catherine O'Toole's decision to fire Officer Cynthia Whitlatch for violating the department's expectations against biased policing when Whitlatch arrested William Wingate in July 2014. But Holmes said that the city's defense to Whitlatch's subsequent arbitration case against the city was significantly affected by technical and procedural issues under the city's collective bargaining agreement with the Seattle Police Officers Guild (SPOG). Holmes contended the police union could have presented a serious argument that all discipline was completely barred because O'Toole didn't notify Whitlatch of the disciplinary decision within the 180 days called for under the police contract. Although there was room for dispute over this issue, the possibility that Ms. Whitlatch might be reinstated as an SPD officer by the Disciplinary Review Board, with full back pay, led my office to entertain discussions of compromise with SPOG, Holmes said in the statement. O'Toole signed the city's settlement agreement with Whitlatch last week. After the settlement became public, members of the Seattle Community Police Commission raised questions and asked for a meeting with O'Toole and Holmes. In a letter to the chief and city attorney, Faye Lopez, the commission's executive director, noted the panel only learned about the settlement from news reports this week. There have been long-standing issues with initial discipline being adjusted after appeal in a way that undermined the transparency and legitimacy of the initial discipline process, Lopez's letter added. Whitlatch, an 18-year police veteran, received the settlement after she appealed her firing for biased and overly aggressive policing following her arrest of Wingate, now 72. Wingate, who was held in jail for 30 hours and charged with a misdemeanor crime before his case was dismissed, filed a federal lawsuit and was awarded $325,000 in November after a jury found that Whitlatch engaged in racial discrimination. His settlement plus legal fees cost taxpayers nearly $1.3 million. Whitlatch, who is white, denied race played a role in her decision to detain Wingate after he, according to her testimony at trial, swung a golf club toward her patrol car as she drove by him at 12th Avenue and East Pike Street. Wingate, who was 69 at the time of incident, maintained he never swung the club. The police union filed a grievance over Whitlatch's firing, citing the violation of the required 180-day limit on disciplinary decisions. Under the city's settlement with Whitlatch, she will receive a lump sum of $105,570.90 for back pay from the time of her firing in September 2015 through September 15 of this year. The city also will make a lump sum contribution to Whitlatch's retirement fund for the disputed time, and change her status from terminated to retired in lieu of termination. In her letter to the chief and Holmes, Lopez noted the high community interest in the case and added if there are legitimate reasons consistent with police accountability principles for the back pay agreement and for resignation in lieu of termination, it is important that those reasons be made clear to the public. Holmes' statement Friday noted the settlement with Whitlatch included key provisions to keep the disciplinary determination in place, ensure Whitlatch wouldn't return to the Seattle Police Department, and will never again seek employment as a police officer. Holmes' statement added the settlement demonstrates the vital importance of obtaining new agreements with our police unions that fully embrace reforms achieved through the consent decree. Holmes was referring to a 2012 consent decree with the Department of Justice that requires the city to adopt new policies and training to address excessive force. Holmes, a two-term incumbent, is running for re-election this fall against Scott Lindsay, Seattle Mayor Ed Marie's former legal advisor on public safety.